Live streaming on YouTube is something that I haven't done before, but let's see what happens. First ever live on YouTube today. Cheers to that. Hello, everybody. My name is Mel, and I run Roller Girl Gang, which is based in Leeds. And I'm here today to have a chat about roller skate plates. One of the questions we are asked a lot is I'm looking to upgrade my roller skates and I'm not really sure what to do. So I've got a few pairs here to compare. Let's see what happens. All right. So I have got a Pilot Falcon plate. I remounted this onto a Beach Bunny boot. And I love this plate. It's got a 16-degree kingpin angle, 8mm trucks, and it provides a really great value plate. It's lightweight, it's solid, metal plate. I'm sorry, I'm comparing metal plates today, like as an upgraded plate, not the metal plates that you get on Beach Bunny skates, like not like the heavy cheaper steel ones. We're talking like higher quality materials. So this one is an aluminium plate. It's polished in various different colors, so you can get purple, red, like a yellow gold, not far off my hat, blue, like an electric blue, and a bright pink. So they are pretty exciting looking colors, but we don't choose things based on color, right? We choose things based on how useful they are and how they feel when we roller skate. And obviously that's not a thing that you can experience before you've purchased it and skated on it. So the tricky thing is with the plates is everybody's different and everybody's skating style is different. You can also make choices on how long you want the wheelbase to be. So general principles are, if you have a shorter wheelbase, often it's a shorter plate, like a shorter wheelbase, you will have more agility, you'll be able to maneuver more, and it should be easier and more straightforward for you. If you have a longer wheelbase, you have more stability because the heel wheels particularly will be back and more underneath your heel, so you should feel more stable. If you are choosing a short mount, so I do skate on a short mount, and you can see the plate here is set in from the heel, but that's also to do with the angle of the kingpin, not just the shortness of the plate, because an angle with a higher degree of kingpin angle will also affect the responsiveness of the plate. Responsiveness is something I have yet to define clearly. It's such a difficult thing to talk about if you've not had the experience of it. So responsiveness happens when you push into the wheels using your foot. So all the wheels are on the floor, but you're bearing your weight down either more to the inside or the outside, and it's the amount of push back you can feel like from the floor, and it's the setup of the plate, it's the action through the trucks, the cushions that you've got set in there, and the wheels, the friction on the floor. All of those things combined are reacting to give you some kind of pushback. That's responsiveness. As you can imagine, it's quite a complicated formula with quite a lot of variables in it, not least, apart from the boot and the makeup of the boot and the plate, it's also to do with the skater, where they are, their environment, how they're using that boot, which is why selecting a plate is not an easy or light undertaking at all. And we do understand that it's a real challenge. So Often when you're upgrading, if you're choosing a metal plate for the first time, I'll just talk you through a couple of the options I've got here. Like, we recommend the Pilot Falcon plate because it's one of the unsung heroes that I see of in the skate world. It's a really versatile plate, 16 degrees, so really solid construction. This is the plus version that's got an adjustable pivot. In reality, I don't know why you'd ever need it. I'm sure there are really useful reasons for needing it. I've never used it, but I really love this plate and how it feels. And I feel that it's great in a variety of situations. I am just gonna put off my notifications onto silent. The other ones that are maybe more well known are the Reactor series of plates. So this one is a Reactor Neo, and it's mounted onto a jackboot, and it's a great plate. I like this plate too. It's solid. I think it's heavier, like direct comparison to the Pilot Falcon. I think it's a heavier plate, and I like it as well. It feels solid. I liked this one in the skate park. It's a 10-degree angle, which is more traditional in terms of the angle of the wheel. So maybe you can see the angle of the trucks. Maybe it's a bit tricky with the wheels in the way, but the trucks, sorry, the kingpin angle of the Reactor is 10 degree. So that is the Reactor Fuse, which is their nylon fiberglass, which is around £120. So it's a lightweight, it's a good upgrade. It's just, not going to mince my words, it's pretty boring to look at because it's black. However, it just blends in, and then everything else is the exciting thing about your skate. And one way I believe that Powerdyne have tried to keep the price down on that is by only offering it in one colour. So the Reactor series of plates are a really solid investment. This one I've had on for 7 years. I have changed the cushions in that time. I would expect that. I've changed the toe stop in that time. I've definitely lost the Allen key lock nut screw. I've had to replace that a couple of times. But otherwise, I've mounted this on, this is the third boot it's been mounted on, and still going strong. I still like skating on it. This is the boot that I use now for just rolling about outside. Again, I've chosen a short mount. It's slightly set in from the heel, and it's slightly short at the toe. So that's just my preference. I like the agility that comes with that. So the Pilot Falcon plate, I just want to put this on a different boot, but I do really love it. So then if you have got more money to spend, just have a little sip of tea. If you've got more money to spend, maybe you're looking at the Arius plate, which is definitely a contender. So yes, here is another boot. I'm very fortunate to have a collection of boots now, which I've built up over my skate career, which is about 12-ish years. So my story with the Aries plate, if you do not already know about this plate, this has no kingpins. Okay, the construction of this plate is totally different to anything else. So this is a traditional plate. It has got the plate and it's got 2 kingpins, and on the kingpins there are the trucks sit there. There are cushions, sometimes people call them bushings. It's a kingpin nut. There are cushion caps to hold everything in place, and the truck action of the truck is by pushing down and up, and it moves from side to side based on the how soft or hard these cushions are. The Aries plate, you can see it doesn't have a kingpin in that way. This is one solid unit, so it makes the plate lighter because it doesn't have additional materials, but it does have a truck because otherwise you can't attach the wheels onto anything. But instead it has these butterfly cushions that sit underneath this bolt. So where you can get a click adjustment on your kingpin nut, you can adjust this as well so that you can adjust the tension on the cushions. You can't do that on the Aries plate. This plate, they're either on or off. The truck is either secure or it's not secure. So you need to just screw it in and it's done. All the adjustment comes from the hardness of the butterfly cushions. And to be perfectly honest, this is something that I didn't understand or appreciate when I was able to first purchase this plate, which was probably about 7 or 8 years ago. And I actually ended up selling it because I couldn't get on with it. I had one pair of skates at the time, which most people do, and I didn't have the luxury of having more than one pair that I do now. And the skates, the plate just didn't do everything that I needed it to do. So I'm going to show you what I mean, because specifically on the Arius plate, it's got a short, always choose the wrong one. It's got a short wheelbase. So the axles are shorter. Can I compare those together? Can you see? Very slightly shorter, like if I put them there. Right, it's not, there's not much in it, but there doesn't need to be much in it. With wheels, we're talking millimeters difference between a 57 or a 58 millimeter wheel and a 62 millimeter wheel or a 65 millimeter wheel. We're talking millimeters difference, but it makes a difference. So there's millimeters difference, but it makes a difference. And the key issue with the Arius plate is the shape right here of the back of the truck and the axle, because the butterfly cushion and this part here around the back of the truck can cause some wheels to be contacted behind here. So if you're thinking, oh, I'm going to just switch my wheels, I'm going to use all the wheels on this, you can't. And the issue that I learned when I first owned this plate was particularly lighter wheels that have the extra magnetic spacer in the middle, so they have quite a thick core, because there's obviously like a full spacer in there. Sometimes there are issues with making it secure on the truck. You can invert the axle nut, sure, it's fiddly, it's annoying, but then, so you've got your wheel nice and secure on there. At the back here, there's very little clearance on that wheel, and sometimes if the bearing on the back is recessed, like it's pushed down, it can cause the wheel to hang up on here as you're rolling along, and you'll get wheel bite. So even if it's rolling smoothly, whilst you're holding it in your hand, you're like, yes, it's rolling smoothly there, Mel, it's absolutely fine. And I was there too, and I thought that too. But sometimes you get rolling and you put your weight into the side, and actually that's when you get some wheel bite. So it's solvable, because you can put on some speed washers just to make the wheels sit a little bit further away from the truck. And again, it's millimeters clearance, that's all you need. But depending on the wheel, if it's a really thick wheel hub, if it's the core and it pushes those threads off there because you've needed to allow space here, then that's a problem, because if the nut doesn't sit fully on, you've not got a safe skate to use. So the Arius was designed for agility. It's a very responsive plate because the truck sits at quite a high degree angle. I think it's 45 degrees without looking it up, but I'm sure somebody will check me on that if that's not true. So we would recommend that if you're choosing the Arius plate, it is an investment piece for sure. That actually you make sure that you use it with high quality equipment, so you're going to get the best possible use out of this plate. So I'm using the Ghibli wheels by Complex. Absolutely love these wheels. I can't understand why they're this price at the moment, and hopefully that's not going to go up. But these wheels, just don't be duped by what they're called. These ones are called super soft, but that's on their scale. It's a different scale. So actually these are an 8 tier A, which is, I would argue, an indoor wheel or suitable for smooth outdoor spaces. Anyway, so the Arius Plate is a different, like, consider it on its own. And let me just put my knee somewhere more comfortable. The other plate people are also considering at the moment is the STD, Skating Technical Design, Danza. People are choosing this plate because it's pretty. I mean, who wouldn't want a plate that looks like that with a neochrome finish, right? Of course we want a very pretty, shiny plate. However, 20-degree kingpin angle, so a little bit more than your Pilot Falcon, but also about £100 more. It's a lovely plate to skate on. Again, I've gone for a short mount, and it's a little bit off-putting when you look at this because you're like, oh, there's a lot of room at the back and the front. Not a standard mount. I've specifically chosen a short mount, but in order to get the most from this plate, I think you know it is going to maybe look a bit different from something you're used to. So if you're used to skating on a stock boot, or you're upgrading from some bit of fluff there, just get rid of that, something like yeah, like a beach bunny or a rookie artistic skate or something like that, the mounting of this plate is going to look really different. The other thing I would say is there's no reason why you can't upgrade in stages. So you can totally just get a plate that you like the look of and put it onto an existing boot. We certainly offer that service, like to exchange your plate. And you might think, you know, oh, that's really weird. Why would I put a really nice plate on my kind of sketchy old boot? But if you can't afford to upgrade your whole boot and get a full new setup, it's fine. You can totally upgrade in stages, and you might choose to do it a different way around, like get the boot first and then the plate, or the plate first and get the boot. Like, the plate should outlast the boot, in my opinion. So if you take good care of your equipment, there's no reason why it shouldn't last you like for decades, really, well beyond the warranty that they've got. So things to know about the STD plate are, it does come with a cushion choice, which is nice. So does the Arius. The Arius comes with a few cushion choices, but the key thing with this plate is it is a European brand, and lots of those brands, particularly artistic ones, have a 7mm axle. So having spoken to STD at some length about this, and there's definitely a language barrier, but we got around it because they're extremely patient with me. So having spoken to STD, they said they can offer a lower quality 8mm steel truck, right? It's still got the neochrome finish, perfectly fine. So if you wanted specifically an 8mm truck, which means that you can switch your wheels between plates, between different pairs of skates, if you've got that luxury, that's fine. You might want to choose that. But again, I think a higher quality plate like this one is about 320-ish pounds, I think, for the Danza skill plate. This plate, I would want to choose it for something that I know I'm going to get the most out of it. So this one I would be using for specifically indoor skating, where I'm trying to improve my technique and I'm not just kind of having a roll about outside. It's definitely worth investing in your equipment for precision. If you're going for comfort, invest more in the boot. If you're not that fussed about the plate and the quality, then you right now you might not need to spend a lot of money on it. So get yourself a nice boot so that you're comfortable. You know, whatever that looks like to you, everybody's different and their situations are different. But we would just say, spend the most that you can afford right now, whatever that is. Investing in your equipment, you're choosing to invest in yourself, really, and you're understanding that you are worth that investment, and you're more likely to spend time with this hobby in the future. And we know that roller skating is not just about the equipment, it's how it makes you feel. It's not how you look, it's how it makes you feel. So that's my quick rundown of plates for today. We've just had a look at the Pilot Falcon, the STD plate, the Neo, please don't fall over, and the Arius. So I hope that was really helpful for some people. If you've got any questions or you would like to know anything else about roller skates and equipment, please drop something in the comments below. Thank you so much for being here on my very first live today. Don't forget to hit subscribe so that you will know in the future when lives happen or new videos pop up. And I will be back soon with more news. Have a great day, everybody. Bye bye.